So let's start discussion about the fluid structure interactions. Okay, so when we talk about the fluid structure interactions, so many wide variety of application we can solve with the help of the fluid structure interactions. So till now, whatever we look at for dynamic mesh motion, we always says that our solid is behave as a rigid solid, okay, where we don't have a flexibility inside the solid. We say it is a solid body movement. But now when we talk about the fluid structure interaction, what going to happen depending on the fluid side loading. So what come as a fluid side loading? So two type of the loading we will observe from the fluid side. One is called the pressure loading, another called the shear force loading, okay, or the viscous force loading. So based on this loading, what happen, the structure start deforming, okay, and so structure also get deformed, because we say that it is not a rigid structure but it is a flexible structure with a different type of elastic properties, okay. So when that is the case, what happen, the solid start moving, and when the solid move, what how it going to affect the fluid side? When the solid move, definitely the fluid domain also get changed, and we have to again try to solve the fluid equation inside the fluid domain, okay. So like that way we can look at the fluid and structure interaction. So it is both the way happening. So first the fluid try to apply the certain loading on the structure, and based on the loading, structure will move, and when the structure move, it also try to deform the or the give certain class of movement inside the fluid domain as well. So if we look at very quick example is our blood through the arteries, okay. So depending on the pumping from the heart, always blood pass through the artery, and the arterial wall is always behave as a flexible wall, okay. So that is how one can see the fluid and structure interaction. So fluid structure interaction has a wide variety of applications. So that's why in nowadays so many research is going on in that area. And when we talk about the fluid structure interaction solution methodology, okay, so normally we have a two different class of options available. One is called monolithical methods, okay. Monolithical method, what going to happen, simultaneously we try to solve Gauss equation for fluid and solid or fluid and structure in a single solver, okay. So monolithical, okay, in which we try to construct a single solver, and it take into account both fluid and solid part both. But normally people try to look at this class of solver when we have a very strong interaction between both the domain like fluid and solid, okay. And in that case we have a unified definition of the mathematical model. Not only that, we have a similar type of the discretization methods and solution procedure one can adapt for both the case, okay. And if we have a similar type of discretization method, and in one sets of matrix we try to invert the matrix, so definitely the stability and convergence property is much better, okay. But the complexity is that it is very difficult to generate that class of the solvers, okay. It is, so coding part is little bit difficult, okay. So there we have a long enough time we have to spend on development. But when we talk about the in context of the open form, so open form work on the partitioner approach, okay. So what going to happen in the partitioning approach, we have a separate solver and the Gauss equations for the fluid and structure both the side, and we try to define certain coupling, and based on the coupling we try to couple both the solver, and it goes on the similar space. That means what we're going to do, let's say at the beginning we try to solve the fluid domain, and from the fluid domain we add up the loading or traction forces. So traction force is nothing but the pressure and viscous force. We apply that on the solid boundaries, and now that goes as a boundary condition for solid structural deformations, and inside that we try to simulate the displacement equations, and then depending on the loading, the internal or the entire solid structure will move, and after that we whatever the movement we got in the solid structure at the boundary, now we take that movement back inside the fluid solver, and like that way we try to couple both the things, okay. So fluid and structural solver, we try to apply the coupling method and try to combine both the solver. But that is how we can see the segregate or partitioning approach, okay. So if you look at it, is all more like a weakly coupled type of the FSI problem, okay. And what benefit we have, we can handle both the fluid and solid with a different type of the mathematics. Okay, it has a different type of the equations, no problem. Different type of discretization method at all we can adapt for both the things. Okay, and we can achieve this coupling through the proper coupling mechanism. Okay, so and if we require very strong coupling, okay, sometime then we have additional iterative loop over a partitioning solver we try to apply with the proper convergence acceleration method and all this thing, and we adopt the very nice or we can create very nice solver out of it. Okay, so let's talk about few more aspect about this, all the solver and all these things. Okay, so if you are interested to look at different equation that is normally coded, then this very nice paper that FSI community release. Okay, so that is very nice paper from JASAC. Okay, so they summarize very nicely how the very simple solver is developed inside the open form environment. Okay, so please go through it. Okay, it is in the updated Lagrangian framework. Okay, so that is how one can see. So inside the fluid, so we have a this we can say that it is in updated Lagrangian framework. Okay, so we have this velocity inside the fluid. Now no more is simple velocity, we have velocity with respect to the velocity of a moving part. Okay, so like that way we can combine the velocity. Okay, so v is the velocity of continuum, vs is the velocity of the surface. So this how the surface is moving, depending on that our internal velocity we can changing. Okay, inside the fluid part. Okay, along with that we have a momentum conservation laws we going to apply. Okay, and along with that we have a conservation laws with respect to the volume. Okay, so that going to apply, and then we have a deformation equations. Okay, and for that we have to have some constitutive relationships. So normal case, if we talk about the linear type of the material, we go with the Stent-Venant class of constitutive relationships. Okay, so that is here Stent-Venant type of the constitutive relationship we are adapting. Okay, for the second polar Kirchhoff stress tensors. Okay, or green Lagrangian stress tensor. So all this thing is mentioned very neatly in this particular paper, and finally we try to solve the in terms of the updated type of the Lagrangian descriptions. Okay, and U is the displacement, that is what it is called incremental form. Okay, so that is what one can see from this. Okay, and at the boundary we try to apply the what we say at the boundary we have to specify the boundary conditions. Okay, so we have to fix that whatever the velocity from the fluid side, exactly it goes toward the solid side, and whatever the solid side velocity, it exactly goes toward the fluid side. Okay, so that is what we try to apply, as well as whatever the forces we try to apply in terms of traction forces from fluid side, exactly apply toward the solid side. Okay, so like that way we can combine the boundary conditions, and here they gave the some piece of code how one can create that one very simple subroutine. Okay, so that is they mention inside of this. Okay, so but we not whatever right now we are looking, it is two different class of solver we're going to explore. One is very basic solver. Okay, it is called ICO FSI solver, that is very basic, and it's not going to take into account the very large deformation, and it also don't have a non-linearity as far as the material property is concerned. Okay, it is still linear material property based solver. And then we have a FSI form that is latestly released by this extended project community, and it is a very powerful solver in terms of the FSI. Okay, so we try to explore both the solvers. So let's start with the very simple solver. So let's go towards the solver area. So please remember, when we talk about the FSI, we try to work with the extended version of the open form. Okay, so we work with the open form extended 4.2, and then here is the solver, and from solver, if you look at here is the solid mechanics. Okay, inside the solid mechanics you will see couple of the solvers. Okay, so inside of this you will find couple of solvers. So very basic solver is available in this area. Okay, so that is called the ICO FSI form. Okay, so let's first have an idea about this ICO FSI form. So what it says: transient solver for incompressible laminar flow of a Newtonian fluid with mesh motion set up at a fluid structure interaction solver. Okay, so it is a basic fluid structure interaction class of the solver. Okay, and it is very simple class of the solver. Okay, so let's have idea what we have. So we have a fvcfd.h file. Okay, so that is a standard finite volume header file normally we see. Then dynamic mesh fv mesh file, okay, for taking into account the dynamic mesh motion. Then patch to patch interpolation we required, okay, to interpolate the different loading condition from solid patch to the fluid and fluid to the solid patch. Okay, then we have a traction displacement. So this will facilitate the loading of the in terms of the tractions. Okay, so traction is nothing but the pressure and the viscous forces that we try to adapt from the fluid solver. Okay, tet fem matrix .h file. Okay, so it will basically what it this file going to do, it try to facilitate the ultimately facilitate the interpolation based on FE mesh options. Okay, so and it will try to take into account the interpolation based on the FEM concept. Okay, so that is the idea behind that. Okay, so tet FV matrix and tet point fill.h file. Okay, so these both the files it's facilitate the interpolations. Okay, so that is what we can see. So tet fv mesh fem matrix.h file define the tetrahedral finite element matrix. Okay, and this tet point fill.h file, okay, whatever we have here, okay, that what it going to do, it will facilitate the finite element method based discretizations. Okay, so that is what we needed. Then fast tet poly patch file additional we have. Okay, then we have a tet poly this one, tet poly patch interpolation.h file. Okay, so interpolation field with respect to phase to into the point. Okay, so that is all interpolations that is required during the calculation. So few of the different class of the interpolations and the FEM based entries we can see here. Okay, so that is look, our discretization is still finite volume based only. Okay, but take into account some structural mechanics, we try to add up the style of the FEM based matrix. Okay, that is what we are doing here, nothing any extra thing. Okay, so that is the difference you can see. Okay, then what we have point mesh.h file and point fill.h file. These two file we have. So that is related to the our polymesh area. Okay, and then we have a, in case of create mesh, we have a create dynamic fv mesh file we have. Okay, so create dynamic fv mesh file try to add up the mesh creations. Okay, so that is what we have. Then create fill.h file and create stress mesh.h file we have. Okay, so few additional file you can see as compared to our normal solver. Okay, so that is how one can see. Now if we look at the main solver part, okay, so inside the main solver, if you see, then what we have is few of the important entries that one has to take into account, like create dynamic fv mesh.h file, as I told you. Okay, so this file is very important file. Okay, so it try to create the dynamic mesh for the fluid. Okay, so whenever our mesh is changing, we have to add up the mesh. So that's why we don't have a simple create mesh, but we have a dynamically adaptive mesh terminology we have. Then we have a create stress mesh.h file also we have. Okay, instead of create mesh, it try to include the stressed form.c file with this. Okay, this and what it try to take into account, it try to take into account the stress part in it. Okay, so and it try to handle the finite element based interpolations from the fluid and structure boundaries. Okay, so for that purpose we required this particular create stress mesh.h file. Okay, so that is few additional things we are seeing in this area. Okay, then create field.h file. Okay, so that is already available we have. Okay, then read mechanical properties. So it allows us to read the density, elastic modulus or Young's modulus, okay, or different parameters from the solid side. It facilitate the reading of that part. Then we have a coupling parameter. Okay, so it allow us to understand the fluid and solid coupling. That is the patch name, what on what page fluid and solid is interacting with each other. That information we have from this side. Okay, so a couple of the few entries we can see. Then if you look at here, we have a set pressure.h file, solve for solid, set motion, solve for fluid. So what we're going to do in the set pressure.h file, okay, so please look at that set pressure.h file. So inside the set pressure.h file, what we do, we try to look at the pressure loading. Okay, so whatever the pressure forces we have to take into account from the fluid side, we try to take into account that part here. Okay, setting a pressure on a solid page, that is what we are doing at that location. Then solve for solid.h. okay, so here we try to solve the equation within the solid only. Okay, so that is what we have a, if you look at here, the similar class of the equations what we see. Yeah, couple of this term you will see, but here it is from the non-linear part. Okay, so that's why you will don't see this all the terms. Okay, so it is coming from the Stent-Venant class of the material. Okay, so here we have a simple. Okay, so here we have a displacement of solid. Okay, so u solid, for u solid we are solving this equation. So this is this part only. Okay, and with the help of that we try to ultimately solving this and find out the v. Okay, that is the our displacement for a solid part within the solid. Okay, so that is what we see from this file. Then we say set motion.h. okay, so set motion.h file. So based on the displacement, now we try to move the fluid as well as solid boundary. So we try to add up the mesh according to the solid boundary change. Okay, so when the solid boundary moves, so whatever the attach boundary with the solid, it is our fluid boundary, it's also supposed to move in the, and when the fluid boundary moves, so internal fluid mesh also supposed to move. Okay, so for that we say it is the set mesh motion. That is what we have to see from this side. Okay, then after that we try to solve for a fluid. Okay, so when we see solve for a fluid, it is simple fluid flow solver. Okay, so where we have a piezo corrector, let's say for this, so we solve for momentum equations. Okay, and then we go for pressure corrections. Okay, so that is exactly what we have normal ICO form. In the similar line we can see all the entries here. Okay, so this is how more like the fluid and structure solver going to interact with each other. Okay, now before we go towards very detailed understanding about different solver, let's quickly try to simulate one very simple case with the help of this FSI ICO FSI form. Okay, so that is the idea. So let's go to our first test case. So look, when we talk about fluid and structure, please understand it's directory structure. Okay, so whatever the information, that means the our boundary conditions, mesh as well as property of the fluid, everything is concerned, it goes inside the fluid solver, fluid side. Okay, and whatever we require about the solid, that is goes inside this. Okay, so we require the fluid and solid both as a separate folder, and we try to add up the certain coupling methods in between both of them. Okay, so before we look at the solution, let's look at after the solution what you're going to see. Okay, So let me start again. So look, depending on the incoming fluid, now this membrane it start moving. Okay, so this is the solid part and this is the fluid domain. Okay, these both are the fluid domain, this is only the solid domain. Okay, so depending on the fluid force, because this solid object we say it is elastic in property. Okay, and depending on the incoming fluid it try to vibrate. Okay, so that is, or oscillate here and there. That is the idea behind this. Okay, so let's now set up this case. Okay, so when we want to set up this case, please understand we require the two mesh file. Okay, one mesh file for fluid side, another mesh file for the solid side. Okay, so we have a separate mesh file, so either you generate with the help of the block mesh, or you can add up the mesh or create the mesh from any of the extra mesher, but idea is that you try to create the two separate mesh for solid and the fluid side. Okay, so how to set up the test case, let's look at the readme file. Okay, so let me close all these entries. Okay, so let's first open the console, and please remember we try to use the FE40. Okay, sorry, 40, that is extended version 4 we are going to use. That is what we adapting. Now first go to the, so first understand the readme file. What we going to do, first we generate the mesh. Okay, then we establish certain links. Okay, so this is called the soft link, because we try to start our calculation from the fluid directory only. So when we start our calculation fluid directory, from inside the fluid directory we supposed to have access to the constant property of a solid as well. So that's why we are establishing the link between the fluid and solid part. So this is all the soft link we are creating, and then we are creating the mesh for solid part. Okay, then we say make FSI case link between fluid and solid. Okay, to exchange the datas from the fluid side and solid side. Okay, and then we go to the fluid area and then start the calculations. Okay, let's observe few things step by step. Okay, so let's first go to the fluid directory. Okay, so cd fluid, then let's first clean the case. Okay, if anything available there. Now block mesh to generate the mesh. Okay, and quickly check how the mesh is look like. Okay, so this is our fluid mesh, and inside of this cutout part is our solid structure. Okay, so later on we generate the structural mesh as well and try to look at both the mesh. Okay, so this is our fluid mesh, and inside the fluid mesh if you see, then we have a this is how it look like. Okay, let me open as a outline. Okay, and also activate the patch. Okay, name. Okay, so this is the inlet, top wall, bottom wall. This is the our console, that is a flapping part, and the outlet. Okay, so that is how and then front and back in the z direction we going to specify the empty conditions. Okay, so that is the default faces. Okay, so our block mesh is ready. Now if you go towards fluid and look at the constant. Okay, so I already created this link. Okay, that's why you will see this link. Okay, so now if go to the 0 folder as well, so let me delete this link. Okay, so you have idea. So what we going to do with this one command. Okay, so we are going toward the constant folder first. Okay, and we are constructing the ln-s with this command, the soft link. Okay, so if you do that and then come to the constant, you will see this, and if you go, you have access directly of the solid folder. Okay, so that is what we needed. Okay, same way in the 0 folder we try to construct the similar class of the link. Okay, so look, now from here immediately you have access to the boundary condition for solid part. In the solid also you will see the U. Okay, so that is what we needed. Okay, so then we go to the solid area and generate the mesh. Okay, so mesh is created for solid part, and check how the mesh look like inside the solid area. So this is the solid mesh. Okay, so this is solid part mesh. Okay, and then we have a fluid part and solid part mesh. Okay, so if you want to okay, let me go to the fluid part first. Okay, let's try to open both the mesh together. Okay, so this is fluid side mesh. Now let me copy this inside the solid area. And this is the solid mesh. Okay, so let's open the solid mesh as well. Okay, so this is how is our solid mesh. Okay, and this is our fluid mesh. Okay, so fluid and solid mesh, it's not necessary that you have one-to-one connectivity. You have different distribution of mesh. You have a unstructured mesh for the fluid part, you have a structured mesh for the solid part. Whatever you require you can create. Okay, no problem. Okay, it is not mandatory that you have one-to-one connectivity between fluid and solid near this patch. Okay, so this patch is the interface patch that is required to exchange the data. Okay, so that is what we can see from this test case. Okay, so let's say we are set with the test case. One last thing remain, we have to set up the this particular links. So let me come out of the fluids part. Okay, so this is the runtime function tool, and then we say make FSI link. Okay, so that is we it say it is failed. Why? Because we already constructed that link. Okay, file exists, otherwise it try to construct that link. That is the idea behind that. Okay, so now let's go to the fluid side. Okay, and we can start simulation, but before we start simulation, let's understand all the settings. Okay, so let's go towards the solid area first. Okay, in the solid what we needed to specify is first the boundary condition for our displacement. So here this is console solid is the patch name from the solid side. Okay, that will in touch with the fluid domain. Okay, so that is nothing but it try to add up the pressure and viscous loading from the fluid side, and over that we say traction displacement is the boundary condition. Why it is called traction displacement? Because it facilitate that mapping between the fluid and solid. Okay, then console fixed, it is the bottom area. Okay, and front and back is empty. So that is what we have a boundary conditions that is required inside the solid area. Then we require the property. So mechanical property we have to specify. So we have to specify, let's say rho, that is the density of the solid, then the nu. Okay, so that is Poisson's ratio. Okay, and then E is nothing but the Young's modulus, and plane stress and plane strain. Okay, so for 2D type of the case, we normally say yes for this plane stress area. Okay, and for 3D we say no to this calculations. Okay, so here right now with the 2D, so we say yes for this plane stress calculations. Okay, so that is a few things we can set in this area. Now let's go to the fluid side. Okay, so inside the fluid side, if you see, let's talk from this constant property area. So transport property, it is about the fluid property, the normally we are giving. Then we have dynamic mesh. So inside the dynamic mesh we say dynamic motion solver, FV mesh we are using. 2D motions, yes. Solver we are using Laplacian. So Laplacian, you have a different options, okay. Whatever we have a Laplacian, velocity Laplacian, component Laplacian, displacement, all the options you can use with the proper diffusivity, okay. And then we have a this one distance patch, that is the console fluid. So this is on this page we have to take into account this all mesh motion diffusivity in part, okay. So that's why we say distance patch is console fluid, okay. Along with that we require the coupling property. So we say solid patch is console solid, fluid patch we say console fluid, and moving region is the our zone on which the it is fluid zone ultimately, okay. So that is what we're going to take into account as a mesh motion, okay. So this is the few entry we required. Along with that, let's go to the system area, okay. And in here we required this TET motion, one additional file, okay. So it this TET FE solution facilitate the motion of U, okay. So for motion of U we require this one file. Then we have a all this time step and all the setting, then FE schemes, okay. Our regular schemes we are using. Solution wise it is same, but what we difference we get is from the solid area. So from the solid area also we have a FV scheme and the solutions, okay. So we can specify that FV solution for the solid part solver, okay, and stress form whatever we are using. For that we are saying that we can solve the our governor equation inside the solid part up to 50 times, and we require the relaxation or the convergence criteria 10 to the power minus 7, okay. Until it reach the 10 to the power minus 7 it will not come out of that particular loop. So when we start simulation you're going to understand this entry. Then scheme wise, because we have a d2t scheme, so for that we have this and all the gradient and all other terms that is required for the calculation of our solid equations, okay. So that is how one can set the test cases. So again please remember we have a all the important properties related to the solid area, it goes in solid folder. Whatever we require for fluid side, it goes in the fluid solid, okay. Now let's start the simulations, okay. So and have an idea what exactly happening. So look, let me give you the idea. So for a one time steps, okay, first the with we try to simulate the solid part, and for the solid part we have a number of iterations. So this number of iterations is exactly the same as what you specified inside this area, 50, and it's either it reach 50 or it reach 1e minus 7, it will come out, okay. It didn't reach 1e minus 7, so it continue to working up to that, okay. Then we have motion of U, okay. So look, this with the help of this we able to get the displacement, and based on the displacement now we want to move the mesh. So that's why motion of ux and uy, okay. So for that we have a couple of iterations, okay. Then we find out the volume continuity, because our volume supposed to be conserved, okay. So that is we have to satisfy the volume continuity. Then motion magnitude, how much we going to get, and with the help of that we try to now deform the our fluid mesh, okay. So that is what we normally do. And then this is our normal solver for fluid side, okay. So this is how one can see the entire solution methods, okay. So now let's check how the mesh motion is look like. Okay, so let's look at this side. Okay, so slowly it try to start moving depending on the fluid loading. Okay, so this is a very simple test case. Okay, and if you run for a longer time, you're going to see something like this class of movement. Okay, so it so after certain time it going to stabilize. Okay, because the it is not a self-sustained type of the movement. Okay, or if you want this oscillatory movement, then at the inlet we supposed to specify the oscillating flow, then accordingly it will try to uh, vibrate continuously. Okay, so yeah, we didn't discuss about the velocity and the other boundary conditions. Okay, so let's go to the zero folder. So inside the zero folder, for u, we whatever the boundary that is moving or attached with the solid part, over which we say moving wall velocity. Okay, at the inlet we specified, then at the outlet we say total pressure. We are using the, if you go to our dynamic, we are using Laplacian, that's why we have a motion u file. Okay, and on the motion u file we say console fluid as a fixed value. Okay, everywhere. Okay, and top and bottom we specifying the slip conditions. So our grid node supposed to move, if we want, from top and bottom side to take into account the other side movement. Okay, so for that purpose we have this. So this is how one can set very quickly very simple test case and try to simulate with the ICO FSI form.